Hello, welcome back to another video. Um, as mentioned in previous video, I was thankful to break free from the shackle of traditional Asian upbringing because I was here in America without my parents. Certainly, that played a big part in cultivating the personality, the belief, the way I think going forward. I didn't have a lot of friends, and due to that, I had a lot of time to think on my own. I have a lot of time to sit there, analyze, and reflect, and figure out many things on my own. I thought, I believe that played a huge part in development in my way of critical thinking and free thinking because I was not bound by any tradition. I had to figure everything out by myself pretty much. And I observe and analyze and decide for myself what makes sense and what didn't make sense. And one of that, I'm not here to tell you that there is any kind of secret sauce for someone to be able to figure out how to think for himself or herself. I just know that that's what cultivated the way I am back then. It's just through circumstance. This is an issue of nature versus nurture. Because of the situation that I was put in, that's how I dealt with things. Okay, I didn't have many options. Sure. Well, I wouldn't say that I didn't have any option. Could I work harder to make more friends? Sure. But at the end of the day, I was content of being who I was. That played a big part as well. One of the big issue today that I see is younger people in social media. I'm not a big fan of social media because I believe it creates an environment that force many young people into seeking validation from other people. Instead of like thinking on their own, doing something for themselves, they constantly seeking opinions and advice from other people through social media. Once again, I'm not talking everyone. There are plenty of people that use social media without being influenced by social media, but then there are a lot of people that are completely controlled by what's going on with social media. Their lives resolve around what's going on with social media. Their fame rely on what they're doing on social media. So it's part of their existence. Thankfully, that didn't exist in the 80s when I was in America. In many ways, I am thankful that I didn't have to measure myself up against anybody. Okay, I think that's one of the things that helped me a lot. Self-esteem play a huge part in the way we all are, right? And I think not having social media, not having so many people tell me what to do, how to do something, created an environment for me where I was free to try many things, to learn many things without worrying what other people think. Another part of my personality that I say I was very thankful for, and this is, I believe, out of my control, is that I was blessed with the personality that I don't wallow in self-pity. I was angry. A lot of things that I didn't like, I was angry about, the inequality or the unfairness of certain things. But at the end of the day, I didn't wallow in self-pity. Oh, why me? Why does I have to do this? Why is the world against me? That was really never a part of my psyche. Okay, so I'm thankful for whatever reason that kind of thinking never crept into my psyche. I was always a confident kid, regardless of my size. I was always very confident, and that is a huge part of success. If anything that I can say and do with my son over the past 14 years now is try to cultivate a sense of confidence in him, in himself, because I believe that's the core of personal success. Is you gotta have confidence in yourself. If you do, then failures is not a big deal. If you try something and you didn't do well, it's not a big deal. You figure out what you did wrong, you learn from the experience, and you move on. Dwelling on failures was never something that I do. Okay, I look back at my early years in America. As I mentioned in the previous video, I was not a very good student. I was A minus, B plus kind of student. But I don't look back and regret, oh, I should have studied harder in school. I should have went to a better college. No, I chose to do those things. It was not my focus back then, and I turned out okay. So with my son, I constantly remind him it's not about getting the A's or the B or the C. It's about do the best you can, put in the best effort. If you put in a lot of effort and you only get a C or a B, then you may have studied wrong. You may have focused on something wrong. You didn't put enough effort studying something else that mattered more. So for him, my advice to him after every bad result in any test or quiz is, what did you do wrong? Okay? A, it could be I didn't study hard enough. That's the worst answer he can give me. But it's okay if that's the answer. B, I didn't focus on the right thing. C, I missed this section of the book. There's a lot of reasons why you didn't do well. Figure it out and try not to make the same mistake the next quiz or the next test. That's how I approach dealing with my son in school. And I think that's part of me trying hard to build that confidence in him, because I told him, if you have the confidence in yourself, then it will carry through with the way you handle any tough task. Instead of approaching any tough task with fear, it certainly was helpful for me to not have my parents here, because I didn't have to worry about doing something poorly. Nobody is going to reprimand me for getting a C, reprimand me for not getting an A. I didn't have that kind of fear. So the circumstance helped me to develop my own self-confidence. I was able to handle tough tasks, good or bad, and move on. And I think over the years that built confidence, because I learned from myself, I learned from my mistake, and improve on many areas of my life, from test taking to how to study better, I'm a firm believer of study smart, not study hard. I harp on this with my son constantly. Every time that he got a bad grades on a test, I told him, you should be disappointed if you put in that amount of time studying and only get a C. It's about figure out how to study better. It's about study smarter instead of study harder, okay? And that will carry through with him for the rest of his life. As I told him, at work, in your career, in your business, later in life, it's always going to be around how to work smarter, okay? Sure, you will work hard. Sure, working hard is part of it, but working smart is a huge part of success, because you can achieve a lot more by doing something smart instead of just working hard, okay? So I take as much as I can of my time with my son with teachable moments, okay? And to me, that is more critical than driving him. You gotta get an A. You must have an A. Life is all about getting the A, you know. And I wish more parents, not just Asian parents, I think more parents should approach teaching their kids these kind of life skills instead of so focused on grade. I focus more on the task. How do you get there? What did you do? What did you do to get that B? What can you do better to avoid repeating? Life has always been about learning for me. It's an ongoing learning experience. I enjoy learning and improving myself, even today. You know, so I hope I can transfer some of that philosophy into my son. So far, I think it has been okay. You know, sure, he's 14 years old. And I'm sure at times he's tired of listening to the old dad telling him his life story here and there, right? But I'm not shy about having conversations with my son. Okay, that's important. And I think, certainly I felt that I broke the mold of many typical Asians that I know. We circle back to nature versus nurture. You know, I believe strongly on both. There is no such thing as one is more important than the other. They both go hands in hand. I was a product of nature and nurture, okay? Certainly I was born with some blessed skills, thinking, psyche. The environment put me in a situation where I was able to utilize what God gave me to maximize the outcome. With my son now, certainly I can't replicate the hardship for him, but at best I try to nurture him, teach him the right thing in life, talk to him about the right things in life, talk to him openly about the hardship that I endure, so that he can formulate in his own way what's the best foot going forward. I'm very proud as a dad, because twice now in the past few years, Anthony teachers or counselor at school have approached me and told me that when a topic of who do you admire the most, unlike many of his peers, Anthony say, my dad. I must have done something right. Instead of him naming some athletes, it's my dad. And that is very gratifying for me. And I'm happy that he stand up, chin up, and speak up for me. Bye-bye.